Hi, I'm Sue.
And I'm Mel, and this is Manifesting with Mel and Sue. In today's episode, we are going to be answering a question from one of our viewers, and they wanted to know, how do you, basically it's affirming for contact from an SP.
Yes, so let's read the question. This is from Lou. Thanks for watching and for commenting, Lou.
Yes.
Lou says, Hi, Mel and Sue, new subscriber here. This channel is so lovely and informative. I love when, Mel, you say you are amazing at manifesting contact, and I would just love to know more. Or if you would do a manifest contact video and a meditation or subliminal or something. I'd also love to hear about manifesting on a time crunch. Hearing about how to receive contact from someone within an hour or a day or overnight. It would be so wonderful to manifest contact from whoever I would like, whenever I would like. Not just for even SPs, job interviews too, etc. Thank you so much. So she addresses that to you, so I will let you take the lead.
Well, it's so easy actually to manifest contact from anybody because it comes right down to your beliefs, your assumptions of if you can do it quickly or not. So if you assume that it's hard, or you kind of have this belief that it's difficult or it takes you a long time, then it's going to be challenging, and you have to be able to flip that belief and decide. That's what I ended up doing, because it used to, I think you remember, it used to take me a while to manifest contact, because I kept saying, oh, it always takes me so long, and then I'd affirm for it, and then I'd complain and say it takes me so long to manifest contact. So if you just flip that belief to it's easy, and that's what I did. That was as simple as, it's so easy for me to manifest contact. I do it so quickly. I manifest contact so easy, so quick. And my big thing was I didn't dwell on it. I didn't get hung up on whether or not it was working. It was just, I said it and I went on like the rest of my day. It was fine. Mm-hmm. And it took me a little bit to shift that belief, just because I had already had that kind of deep assumption that it was difficult. And so when I flipped it and I kept saying over and over again, it's easy for me to manifest contact, it did in fact become easy. In fact, just this week alone, I think I've manifested contact from 4 or 5 different people. I do it with job interviews now.
I did too.
You do? That's awesome.
Maybe not as many, maybe like 3, but yeah, for sure.
So yeah, it's just comes right down to as simple as what your belief is, what your assumption is.
So, and I assume you manifested contact by affirming.
Yes, okay. It was affirmation. That's my main and favorite technique.
Great. So I love that, because my experience is different. But my quickest manifesting contact has always come from just living in the end. So in my opinion, if there's someone, like if this is a romantic SP, then I would say, instead of focusing on getting a text from that person, focus on actually being in a relationship with that person. For me, the quickest that I've had contact, I was literally living in the end of being with my SP. So I want to give a couple of examples. So one was when I was affirming that we were in a relationship, that I was his girlfriend, and that he was showing up for me in exactly the way that I wanted him to. And I was just affirming that over and over. And then he started messaging me. Another time, I was living in the end by texting myself.
I remember.
So I got a free texting app in which I used to text my own number from him. And I made the number on the fake app with his name and his picture. And so I would text myself on it and have a conversation with myself. It sounds delusional, and it is, but it worked. So it worked like this. It was crazy, because I'm texting from him, and I was talking about how I got to see him that day. And he said something like, you're my angel. Like, this is me being him. He said, yeah, you're my angel. And I don't know why I picked those words. I'd never used that word to describe myself before, but I did. And I'm driving around, and literally an hour later, I end up running into him. I won't explain how because I don't want to give too much away, but I ran into him, and afterward he messaged me and said, "It was really good to see you. You're my angel."
I remember when that happened. That was so funny.
It was like, I was like shocked because it was within an hour and he said the exact same words that I had messaged from him. And it wasn't like, I didn't expect it to happen. I wasn't trying to create contact that night. I was just so immersed in the experience of like, okay, I'm living in the end of this is the relationship that I want. And that's what happened. But yeah, so now it, like Mel said, it's super easy now, because now, like, my favorite affirmation is, oh, they're blowing up my phone. So like I have specific affirmations about specific people. And one of them today, my boyfriend, I hadn't heard from him yet. And I was affirming this afternoon. I'm like, oh, he's blowing up my phone right now. He falls deeper in love with me every day. Sure enough, like a minute later, like so quick, like that, he messages me and then he calls me. So, I mean, I think that the more you do it, the easier it gets because that assumption, like Mel said, is created. But as far as on a time crunch, I think that it just comes down to being decisive about it, like Mel did. The more that you're decisive and just decide that it's happening without questioning it, the more likely it's going to be. I feel like it's the certainty of this is happening that creates that experience.
Well, I like the analogy of when you order a package from a company. Most people use Amazon because that's so widely used. But they say when you order the package, you're not constantly checking to see if it's going to come. It told you it's going to be here in 2 days. So you're not going to constantly check your phone and be like, is it coming? Is it coming? Am I going to get it? What if I don't get it? Well, you paid for it, you're going to get it. So so you're not, you have that confidence of I will receive it. And so it's similar to that in you just know, you just decide, I just know. And that's what I've been doing. Like I did that twice this week with 2 different people that I wanted to hear from. And I decided, I'm like, so-and-so's texting me, so-and-so's messaging me right now. And I literally walk into the other room, left my phone on the charger in one room and I was in the other. And I was like, oh, I should go check my phone because so-and-so messaged me. And I went back into the room and I checked my phone. Sure enough, I had a message from them. And so it's just knowing you have that power. Like you are your operant power. So why would you question it? It's like at work. Your boss says, do this. You typically don't question it. You're like, all right, I'm going to go do it. Or you tell your employees, go do this. And they go and do it. And so, there's a lot of different analogies like that. But it's basically you just know.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's the knowing that helps make it happen super quick. Because you're not having a lot of doubts or like resistant contradicting thoughts. If you are, then you might just need to affirm more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And the other thing that I wanted to say about manifesting contact, and I kind of already like went over this a little bit, but I want you to really question if that's what you want. Is it just the contact that you want, or is it what the contact would lead to? Because if it's not just the contact, like, I've got text messages from people, but they weren't what I wanted ultimately. So I think you're better off focusing on the end of what you actually want. If you want a relationship or if you want a job, like you don't necessarily focus on hearing from that person, but you focus on being in the job or being in the relationship. And I think that contact's just going to come as a result of that. Like it just has to. So, just think about like if that's really what you want or not. Not to say that you can't manifest in steps, because you can.
Oh, absolutely.
But it might be quicker if you just focus on the end.
That's true. And everything works a little bit differently for each of us, as we just showed that, she manifests a little bit differently than me. But there's no wrong way. It's, just because it works for her and it doesn't for me, or doesn't work as well for me, doesn't mean it's wrong. It's just that's what's right for her and this is what's right for me. And that's absolutely okay.
Yeah, that's a great point. And I feel like we're going to probably bring this up a lot because I know some of the topics that we're going to be talking about in upcoming videos. But what I want you to know is like, the method that's going to work best for you is the one that you think will work. So if you have doubts about affirming, or you have doubts about SATs or scripting, whatever it is, find the one that you feel like is most likely to work for you. I do them all, to be honest with you. Some I feel like are more effective for certain things. For one thing that's going on in my life recently, like I couldn't affirm for it and I couldn't visualize for it. So I just decided to give it to God. And I know now, like I feel confident that that's done and I don't have to worry about it anymore. And so it's such a relief that I don't have to manifest it because it's taken care of.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, just find what you feel is going to work best for you. The thing that you have the least resistance to is probably going to be your best bet.
Exactly.
And if you don't know, then just practice with everything.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was just about to bring up is everything is practice. You know, it's like, don't focus so much on the time frame. Don't look at so-and-so manifests quickly. Like I don't look at Sue if she can manifest contact in an hour and I only did it in a day. And then so-and-so only could do it in a week. It's all irrelevant because time is...
For me, it's different for each person too, because it's the amount of resistance I have with
exactly.
each person.
It depends on the person. It depends on the situation. But really it's just the more practice. At least I know for me, it was the more I practice these techniques and the better I got at them, the easier it gets. And sometimes when you're new to something, it does take a little bit of getting used to and, undoing things that don't work for you. So it really just comes down to that. And so just be patient with yourself and trust yourself.
Also, start affirming or scripting or whatever you do. Start affirming that you manifest instantly.
Yes.
Because the sooner you get that belief installed, it's going to make everything so much better.
That's so true. I can remember when I first started practicing LOA, she told me, she says, just affirm, like I manifest so quickly and easily. And I started doing it and it did start getting quicker and easier. And now I don't even really affirm that because it's a very clear assumption for me. I don't, I know it. I know I do because I see evidence of it. But even if I didn't see evidence of it, I'm like, I know I do. I believe I do. So it's just sticking with the story.
Yeah. Perfect. I love it. So hopefully that covered all the bases with manifesting contact. As for, you had some other questions about doing a meditation or a subliminal or something. I meant to say, at some point I'm going to link to my subliminal channel if people want to check out those subliminals. I don't have one for contact yet, but I do have an SP video on there. So I will link those if people want to check those out. And later we will do a video on subliminals as well.
Absolutely. And I can vouch for these subliminals. I use them all the time. They are amazing and they work.
They sure do. I mean, they work for me anyway.
Me too.
All right. So I think that's it. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment.
And we'd love to hear more of your questions. And don't forget to go out and manifest that dream life.